Rosie, if I could get up right now and show you some of the artwork that came home for when I want to grow up, my 7-year-old did say, when I grow up, I want to be an accountant. So I would not be doing my job if I could not get at least one of my children to pursue accounting as a career. So.
Hello! This is CPA Career Path Podcast with Rosey Flaherty, CPA MSA, where we dive into thrilling journeys in the world of accounting. Hi, Liz. Thank you so much for being on my podcast today.
My pleasure, Rosie. It's about time I finally got to meet with you.
I know, right? So we have Liz as the director of CPA Pipeline at AICPA. I met Liz at the AICPA Leadership Academy. Oh my God, that program is amazing. I love it. I can talk about that all day long. But Liz, today's podcast interview is all about your journey. And before we dive in your CPA journey, can you introduce to the audience a little bit more about yourself?
Let's, Rosie. So like Rosie introduced me, my name is Liz. I am a CPA. I've been a CPA for quite a few years, and it's been an absolutely amazing journey with twists and turns that I've never expected when I was in school to be able to end up where I am now. And I know, and I still feel like my career journey is still unfolding and just beginning as I continue to progress along all of this. So I started out being interested in accounting when I was in high school. Fortunately for me, I was able to have a class in high school with a really amazing teacher who was a big advocate. He was actually a CPA himself, but he was a big advocate for the profession. And so he piqued my interest and to be able to have a career that was going to be able to support a future family. So I came from a background, Rosie, where single family home, no first generation college student. And so I really had to figure out how to get from where I was to where I wanted to be. And so I think the start of my schooling and career journey didn't, maybe fit the mold of what you would expect. I chose to go to community college for 2 years, and I got my associate's degree, and then I transferred to a 4-year school, and all while pursuing accounting and really learning a lot and being able to open up my eyes to all of the opportunities that accounting would have. I was able to get a internship with an amazing public accounting firm, and I got my first full-time job there too, which is where I met my husband, which is a fun story to tell. We have 2 CPAs in the house. It's a lot of fun. I know you're clapping. It's a lot of fun. And then my career then progressed into business and industry for a couple of years. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to be here at the AICPA for about 8 years. And I started my career journey here, actually writing and reviewing questions for the CPA exam itself. So now I get to oversee CPA Pipeline. And so if you asked me in high school, would I be here? I would have said never in a million years, but it's been an amazing journey. And I think it all contributed to the career path accounting, being in the profession, and most importantly, I think being a CPA and having that skill set and that network behind me in order to, fuel my future successes.
Wow, your family must be so proud of you.
They are, right?
Oh my God.
It's a really great feeling to be able to showcase that to my family and get their support, and certainly be able to show, I have 2 young boys, to be able to show my boys that they can do really anything that they put their mind to, as long as they're willing to put in the work towards it.
So you have been with your husband for such a long time because you met him when you got the internship.
Yeah, yes, we have. And we're still together, obviously. We're CPAs. He's now, he's still at that firm, Rosie. He's still at that firm that we both had interned at. He's just made partner 2 years ago. And so the profession is day in and day out at work for me. It is what I live and breathe. And then even at home, it's certainly something that we continue our conversations at the dinner table, which is always good.
Wow. So it's funny because a lot of people say that if you are an accountant, you better marry someone else who is not an accountant. Otherwise, you never get away with accounting. And I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but you know what, Rosie? You know what? So I think there's like 2 aspects to that comment that I think people may overlook. Just because you're an accountant does not mean you're always in tax season, right? It doesn't always mean that. So you're not always technically busy. And the other aspect of that too is being able to find someone that understands what you're going through, or maybe some of the challenges that you have to overcome through work. My husband, of course, is busy. He's in public accounting, so he does have a smaller busy season. He's in audit, but being able to support him through that and understand what that type of lifestyle is like comes with absolutely no judgment. I understand, and I'm super supportive of it. So while many of his colleagues are married to teachers or other professions, I certainly understand and support him through all of his career journey for sure.
Wow, I'm very curious if your two boys growing up going to be CPAs as well. You have two CPAs in the family.
Rosey, if I could get up right now and show you some of the artwork that came home for when I want to grow up, my 7-year-old did say, when I grow up, I want to be an accountant. So I would not be doing my job if I could not get at least one of my children to pursue accounting as a career. So far, so good, Rosey.
All right, so you start from your family first, and then you're going out and then try to make other people become accountants. All right, that's fair enough. So you mentioned that you had an internship in the public accounting, and then you decide to work in private. Is there a reason why you decide to work in private or industrial accounting instead of continue to work in public?
Sure. That's a great question, Rosey. And I think, again, fortunately, when I was at my 4-year college, they offered a class where they had, different either organizations come into the classroom, the accounting classroom, or different firms come in and showcase what it was their firm or their organization was all about. So I felt really well informed when I was making a decision and when I was interviewing with different size firms, what it was that I knew I wanted to do. I think that's really, really, really important for anyone who's choosing to go into accounting, that they really understand the breadth and depth of opportunities available to them right off of the bat. So for me, I chose to go public accounting, but it was a mid-sized firm, probably mid to small size firm here in New Jersey. And that's what worked for me. Within having that experience, it was amazing. It was such a great experience. But the spoiler is I met my husband it was my boyfriend at the time. I met my boyfriend and I knew that I didn't want to continue working and we were going to progress in our relationship and we didn't want to work together. So I was more of the risk taker of the two. And I said, you know what, I think I can continue my career journey, take the skills that I've learned here and be able to find new things to do. And so I chose to go into business and industry in pharmaceuticals, medical imaging, medical life sciences, which was so incredible to take all of the knowledge I got from being in public accounting and auditing mostly, and be able to apply that into an organization and see the other side of those transactions and see the other side of challenges clients have, and be able to bring my knowledge and expertise into that organization, but yet still learn so much to be able to really understand business life cycles and business decisions and, the financial planning and analysis aspect of everything that goes into running large, multinational, organizations. So being able to take that knowledge and skill set out of it was honestly an amazing experience.
I'm just curious, is that because your boyfriend at that time, but husband now, decided to stay in public? And because of the lifestyle in public, you both sit down and discuss, hey, we both cannot be in public because someone needs to be available to support the other person, or like someone need to take care of things around during busy season. Is that the discussion you had with your boyfriend at that time and husband now?
That's a great question. That wasn't a part of our discussion or our conversation, was future planning for future family. I think the one thing that both my husband and I love how he's a part of this interview, but he's not here. The one thing that my husband and I really prioritize is our time together and our family time. And he does an amazing job, and I still continue to learn from him in holding those boundaries around, there's a time for work, obviously, and there's a time for home, and trying to I don't want to say not blur those boundaries. I feel like work-life balance is a really overused term. It's really probably more so work-life integration and being able to find time and space for the items or the priorities that you have, being able to find that time and space. So that really wasn't something I was, considering or talking about, 10 years ago. But I think looking back, my choices to leave public accounting wasn't because I didn't like the lifestyle. It wasn't because I didn't think I was able to, get to where I wanted to be. It was just that I wanted to try something different. I enjoy being able to be challenged and learn new things. And so for me, that was really the only driving factor in all of that. But I think it's been a great balance for my family, for both of us to be able to be on our career paths and have great career trajectories, but also be able to balance our career aspirations with, supporting our family and being for our boys.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned about you like to be challenged and like to learn new things. And it is, people always think that if you work in public accounting, you learn new things every day, every busy season, even for the same client. And in private accounting, you probably just learn new things in first few months only. And pretty much after that, the cycle, the process, pretty much exactly the same. And you would not have a lot of opportunity to learn as much as in public accounting. So back to that concept, when you mentioned that you like to learn, you like to be challenged, how can you combine that, what you want or what you was looking for in industry or private accounting?
So you bring up a really interesting juxtapose of what people may think about something until they're actually in it, right? So I think in public accounting, there are aspects that are you're constantly learning, you're constantly building your skill set, you're constantly increasing responsibilities year over year, right? So you start just on learning cash and maybe accounts receivable, and then it builds and builds until you're in charge of the entire audit. And then you're in charge of the entire client relationship, and then you're in charge of multiple client relationships, and then you have a team you're working with, right? So like that's the career progression. And, while you may be doing similar things like an audit, you get different clients, you get different industries, you get different areas of leadership and management all tied into that. On the flip side, with business and industry, at least from my perspective and my personal experiences, it was a lot more cyclic. I can't even say the word Rosy. It was a lot more cyclicer. I'm still not saying it right. You could edit this out. It's a lot more, I've lost my train of thought now. It's gone. It's gone. You're going to have to edit that. I don't even know what I was saying. The business and industry aspect of life cycles is a lot more recurring transactions. We're always looking at it on a monthly basis, on a quarter end, it's year end. And so while everything is new and fresh when you're starting and you're learning something new, it does become, doing the same things over and over again. However, I would say, at least for, what I experienced was that if you raise your hand and you want to keep learning and you want to keep growing and you want to keep building upon your responsibilities, having that mindset and bringing that to the table will always afford you the opportunities to, again, continue to grow and learn new things. And so throughout my time in business and industry, not only did I, learn, being a specialist in fixed asset accounting, but I also took over and helped manage the shared services accounting and the KPIs and being able to do presentations to our board members that were a part of the shared services. I was able to go and be a part of, I mentioned, Rosey, that it was a medical imaging diagnostic company. So I would get to go to the sales meetings where the sales folks were getting trained on the new equipment. And so from an accounting finance lens, I was looking at it and saying, oh, well, how are they using the equipment? How are they selling the equipment? What do they need? How does this all then kind of roll back up into the work that I'm doing? And so it provided me, again, with a ton of experience and a ton of knowledge to be able to learn and grow and develop along my career path. And so they were both very different, but I think coming to the table, wanting to be a learner, wanting to take something away, wanting to grow your skill set is something that you have to showcase as someone who's in a role. You have to showcase that, and those type of opportunities will certainly continue to roll out. And again, that's been my experience. So it's been great.
So I believe that it's fair to say that it doesn't matter where you work, as long as you need to speak up that you want to learn, and there will be a lot of opportunities for you to learn. It doesn't matter that you're in public or in private, small or big firms. So as long as you just communicate about what you're looking for, and people will give it to you. So I think that will be a good lesson for a lot of people as well. So you don't have a fixed mindset saying that, oh my God, if I want to learn, I have to stay in public. Or if I feel like I don't want to learn that much, I can move to private. So that's probably a misconception about the public versus industry in this profession.
Absolutely, Rosie. And I have to say, from what I've been seeing and hearing, I talk to a lot of students, right, in this role, and they're feeling that they need to pick a job, their first job, and that's going to be the end all be all. Well, in some cases, that's great, right? That's the case for my husband. That doesn't have to be the case for anyone and everyone. And you're in the driver's seat of your career, and you get to choose what it is that you want to do. And my hope is for anyone who's choosing to go into accounting and they're graduating with an accounting degree, my hope is that they continue to pursue CPA licensure, but really be able to identify the things that they're passionate about and match it with their skill set and find a happy medium there where they can really continue to thrive around what it is that drives them and fuels them and gives them that job satisfaction. Because, Rosie, like you said, there are so many opportunities. It doesn't have to just be public or private. There are so many opportunities across the profession to be able to make really a lasting impact, community you work in, or, the area you live. And so there's just so much opportunity there that it doesn't have to just be one or the other or black and white. There's a lot of different ways that you can mold your career path into something that you want it to be.
I absolutely agree with you about that. And after you work in industry for a couple of years, and then you decide to start working at AICPA, from the CPA exam content to CPA pipeline. So because you start with the CPA exam content, I want to dive in your experience about CPA exam. What was your experience about CPA exam? How long did it take you to pass the 4 section? And what was the most challenging subject or most challenging issue when you tackled this CPA exam?
Great. Again, another great question, Rosie. So for me, I graduated in December. So I wasn't a typical May graduate. Like I said, I was a transfer student, so I had some additional credits to get. I wanted to try and graduate as close as possible to 150 credit hours so I didn't have to go back and do a lot of schooling when I was working full time. So I was a December graduate, and fortunately, the company that I was working full time at held my job, even though everyone else had started in the fall. They held the job for me. I started as soon as I graduated at the end of December, and I went through my first busy season. And right after that, I said, I'm not waiting any longer. I'm going to start my CPA journey. And so what was awesome at the time, and I would encourage this for anyone who's thinking about pursuing CPA licensure and really starting their exam experience, is finding your people. Finding your people, whether it's at your firm, your organization, through a networking group, through your friend group, or even through, if you're in school still, right? If you're in a graduate program or undergraduate program, find your people that are going to support you and they're doing it with you. It makes it so much easier to go through the process knowing that you're not alone in it and you have support with those around you. So I started with a group of 3 other new hires, and we were all studying after work together. We were kind of huddled up in a huddle room, and we would study after work. And so for me personally, my progress along the exam was I took FAR first. I thought that was important to get it out of the way. I passed that first time, first try. I'm like, yes, we're on a roll. I moved over to BEC next, I believe, which is, everyone has their own exam journey. I think I did BEC next. I passed that. We're good to go. I went and took reg, which tax was not my skill set at all. And I didn't pass. I'm like, okay, this stinks. The clock is still running. I got to get this done. But it was getting close to starting another tax season. So I kind of had to put it on hold. And as I went through another busy season doing auditing, I felt even more comfortable with my audit materials, even more comfortable with the reg materials. I took reg again. I finally passed. I take audit. I don't pass. I take audit again. I don't pass. Now, Rosie, I'm starting to stress out. I'm like, I don't want to lose exam credit. I'm trying really hard. I am an auditor and I can't pass this exam. I was incredibly frustrated, but I never gave up and I just kept trying. I kept trying new ways to study. I kept trying. I would talk to other mentors, or I would talk to others who had passed the exam. I would talk to them about their experience. I tried new study tips. I did everything I could think of. And finally, on that third try, I passed with literally, Rosey, like 20 days to spare before my first section had expired. So I really was persistent in my pursuit. And again, being able to sit here today, Rosey, and say, my third job after I was out of college was creating and writing questions for the CPA exam that I didn't pass the first time. And for some sections, I didn't even pass the second time, is a testament to someone's ability to, if they put their mind to something, you never know what opportunities are going to come throughout your career. And once you've passed it, that's all that matters. Once you have those letters after your name, that's all that matters. And so again, I say that as a words of encouragement for anyone who's ever on the journey. Please don't let failure discourage you. I know, like many CPAs, Rosey, maybe you too, are very type A. We're very organized. We were really, well done in school. It was straight A's. And so to be able to take an exam and feel like you failed and feel like a failure, that's really hard. But to know that that doesn't have to be the end of the story, and you get another opportunity, you change your attitude and you keep going at it. The only thing that matters is your end result and being successful in what you set out to do, and never losing that, that vision of what you started, being able to finish it. So those are my words of advice to any student or candidate I certainly talk to.
Oh my God, you have 20 days spare. I got 7 days. 7 days spare. And I took FAR first. I passed it the first time. I took regulation, and then I passed the second time. And I took BEC first time, but audit, exactly that audit section. Oh my God, it took me 3 times. And I failed the second time, and I was like, the first time I took audit, I got 73.
Yep.
It's super close. And I was like, well, it's so close. I did not need to learn that much. So I really underestimate how much it could be crazier in the second time. And the second time I got significantly lower than 73. And I was like, what's wrong with me? I was an auditor at that. I was planning to be an auditor as well. And I was like, I don't think auditor is my future. Maybe it could be. It could be wrong. And so the third time, I don't know, you said you went out and asked people and talked to people, seek advice. I went out and I studied 4 different study materials. Yep. For the last section. I was like, I cannot fail this one, because at the time when I took this section, they changed the way that we studied and the way that the exam was at that time. So if I had to take FAR again, literally I had to restudy from beginning. Because I was in the middle transition. Yep. And so I was like, nope, I don't want to do that. There's no way. So I passed audit in the last week of my 18-month window. And I was like, oh my God, I will do my best to never, ever, ever take these sections again.
I hear you, Rosey. I get it. I know it. And I have to say, being able to, and the feeling, be on the other side of it made all of that stress, and not headache in a bad way, but the stress that you put on yourself, it made it all worth it. Knowing at the end you were done, you moved through it, and all of that is just a distant memory. Although I will never forget any of that. But I have to say, too, Rosey, again, we'll talk about my husband for a second. My husband had started his exam journey early in his career, took exam sections, passed them, and then just let them expire. Just let them expire. Wasn't into it. Had a lot going on. Just let them go. And so I encouraged him to get back at it before we started a family. And so he was one who jumped back into the CPA journey when he probably had 5 years of experience under his belt. And so for him, that's what worked for him. And certainly having that additional experience that 5 years in public accounting gets you, I think made his, his time that he had to study a little bit easier, because he did have that lived in experience. So that's, again, a testament that it doesn't always, it's better to get it done and out of the way earlier on in your career, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible to do it when you're well into your career, 5-10 years in. It's certainly something that's attainable for anyone who wants to choose to do that.